Coming up this weekend, it's the Wyoming-Montana All-Star Basketball Series in Gillette Friday and Lockwood, Montana. It's the Billings area on Saturday for you folks that might not be familiar with Billings, Montana, like I am since my wife's from there. But I'm visiting with Wyoming girls head coach Liz Lewis from Gillette College. And first of all, I know last year was a rough year for you and the young ladies. Did you maybe learn any lessons that you're applying this year in terms of how you constructed the roster to trying to find a rhythm and chemistry, Liz? I'm just kind of curious as to maybe lessons learned that you're kind of applying to this year.
Yeah, I mean, there's always something to learn. There's always something to learn from wins and losses, and we got a really good group this year. I'm really excited about them. We've simplified some things. It is really tough to do a lot in a couple of days, and you're bringing in kids from all different parts of the state and playing together for the first time, and it's great. It's a really fun experience and everything. So we're just really looking forward to the games. And like I said, we got a really good group this year.
What are you seeing from them so far in practice here in just the last couple of days?
You see the leadership. You can tell that that they're the best from their high school teams, and you can see the leadership, especially with Elin Bowers from Pinedale. Like she is just she's a different player. She just is, and it's really fun. But it's been really fun to coach her, and just really engaged, and like you can just tell the different level of athlete, and especially with her.
Talk about what are you kind of expecting from Montana this go round?
Montana, they always have a lot of size. They do, and that's definitely something that we don't have a lot of size this year. But that's the thing is we're still going to compete. We're gonna really run the ball and do what we can, getting up and down. But Montana, they're athletic and they've got the size piece with them, and they've got some really good players on their roster as well.
So, what do you think are going to be some keys for your squad in these two games coming up Friday night and Saturday night?
I think some of the biggest keys is to definitely, like I said, just run the ball. Like we're gonna race offensively and push the ball as much as we can. And rebounding is going to be a big part of it too. We can't just turn and watch the ball. We got to make contact and box out and secure those rebounds and do everything we can to continue to get more and more possessions. So it's definitely gonna be a challenge, but we're gonna do everything we can to have a high tempo game.
You mentioned a lot of talent, and how fun these girls have been. How do you get that rhythm and that chemistry going in such a short time to hopefully benefit you this weekend, do you think?
I think that's the biggest challenge is that it's such a short amount of time working with these girls. But some of them have played together in some AAU and things like that. They've played together. They've played against each other, all those years and everything. So they do know each other's strengths from even just playing together. And I think the chemistry's coming along really well. That they're getting along and having fun. And I like that they get to see each other in a different light. They've been rivals for all these years, and then all of a sudden now we get to be on the same team. And so it's like I said, I really enjoy these series. It's a lot of fun. And like I said, these group of girls have come together and they're playing hard, and practices are going really well. And we're going to do everything we can to be prepared.
Liz, wish you best of luck. Thank you for a few minutes as you get ready for Montana this weekend.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
We continue talking about the Wyoming-Montana All-Star Basketball Series coming up Friday night in Gillette at the Pronghorn Center there at Gillette College, and of course Saturday in Lockwood, Montana, and joined by boys coach Shawn Neary. And coach, you guys broke through last year, wiped out a long losing skid, swept the series for the first time in a long time. How did you go about doing that, and what do you maybe take from that, even though it's a different year and a different team, that maybe you can hopefully kind of apply this time around?
Yeah, it was a special group of seniors last year, and we kind of had a group of guys that they really played well together. They were unselfish. They competed. They were just a fun group to coach, and they did a nice job. So from that experience, just try to get that same type of player, try to get that same type of chemistry going. And so we've had a couple practices so far, and a little bit rusty as always, but we're kind of chipping away at it. So hopefully we'll be competitive again this year.
I was going to ask you, that kind of leads to my next question. Based upon what happened last year and the success you had, did that help you kind of construct the roster and how you like to maybe go about this moving forward?
We have a committee of coaches that look at players around the state and try to evaluate and try to put it together. And so, we'll just, so far so good with these guys. And again, hopefully they'll compete and get after Montana. Montana's got a good team again this year. They've got all 10 of their players have signed to play college basketball. A couple JUCOs, and then a couple. The rest of them are, I think, NAIs. They don't have any D1 or D2 guys this year, but they're all quality players. All 10 of them are going to continue to play, so they're going to be very good again.
How do you go about, and you kind of talked about knocking off the rust early, but how do you go about trying to find that rhythm and chemistry in these few days of practice from your
Yeah,
perspective?
yeah, I just think you got to get after it. I mean, you got to get them in here and you got to get going. We do a lot of 5-on-5. We're not doing a lot of, breaking stuff down, and it's time to go. We got to get 5-on-5 in. A lot of these guys haven't played in a couple months. Either they had a spring sport, or, it's hard to get pickup games sometimes just because of where we are. So, just getting them back into that basketball mode of playing 5-on-5, getting used to each other. We mix up the rotations in practice a little bit just to see if we have enough of a little bit of everything in each group, so we're competitive, because we'll platoon. We play 5 at a time, and then we sub, halfway through the quarter. So, everybody gets a chance to compete. And so we want to try to put a good group together, each 5, to be strong. And so kind of working on that. But yeah, I think you just got to dive in and just play and get some shots up and just play and try not to get injured. But at the same time, you got to go.
Is there a certain style that you see with maybe some groups early on that you can kind of go with, or is it all just going to kind of be run and gun?
Yeah, we're kind of I prefer to coach with more of a 5-out type offense, and we prefer just to move the ball and just try to get side to side offensively. We want to attack the basket. Again, play to our strengths. If we've got, this year with Neil Summers from Laramie, obviously a big guy, at 6'8", 6'9", and so we got to try to find a way to keep him, make sure that he's a threat offensively, and then of course everybody else is a guard. So we're just going to play 5-out and just try to move the ball and get good shots, and hopefully we'll make them.
Well, Coach, it was fun to see the sweep last year. I wish you best luck, and I know you guys want to get after this year. Appreciate the time as always.
Thanks, David. Appreciate it.